In this video, we're going to continue to discuss graphing lines. Specifically though, we're going to graph lines in point slope form. So remember, that's our y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1 end parentheses. To graph a line that is given to you in this form, the first thing that you're going to want to do is find a point that is on the line. To find that point, you're going to pull out from the equation your x1 and your y1. Now, be aware that in the original form of the equation, those are subtraction signs. So if you're given the equation where there are addition signs, you're going to need to correct that in order to properly pull out the point to plot onto the graph. The next thing that you're going to do is use the slope to locate other points on that line so you can then draw the line. Our slope in this form of the equation, in point slope, is going to be m. Remember, that is always rise over run. And that's just found in front of the parentheses with our x's. So let's take a look at some examples. In this first example, when we see it, we have y minus 4 equals 2 parenthesis x minus 1 end parenthesis. So we have our two subtraction signs, so we don't need to worry about correcting that. So the first thing that we're going to pull out is our point. So remember that this is our x, so we have 1 comma, and then this is our y, so we have 1 comma 4. We can go ahead and plot that point on our graph. So we start at the origin, go to the right 1, then we go up 4, and we plot our point. Then we want to pull out our slope. In this case, our slope is equal to 2, which is going to be 2 over 1. So our rise over run. So we can go up 2, 1, 2, and then to the right 1 to put a point. We could also go down 2, 1, 2, and then to the left 1 to put a third point. We could do that again. We could do it as many times as we want to. So down 2 to the left 1. We now have 4 points that we could connect. So we want to draw our line through those 4 points. Make sure that you put your arrows on the end to show that it's extending forever in both directions. And there's our line of y minus 4 equals 2 parenthesis x minus 1 end parenthesis. Taking a look at our next example, we have y plus 1 equals negative 1/2 parenthesis x plus 2. So in this case, we see these addition signs right away, and we need to remember that those should have been subtraction signs, but it was cleaned up to make it into addition. So when we pull out our point here, we're going to have our x1 comma y1. So our x1 right now is plus 2. So this is actually going to be a negative 2. Because if we rewrote this, it could be x minus negative 2. Then we have the subtraction sign, and that tells us that it was a negative 2. We're going to do the same thing when we look at our y1. We have a 1 currently, but it was a plus 1, so that would actually be minus negative 1. So we have negative 2 comma negative 1, and we can go ahead and plot that. Starting at the origin, to the left 2, down 1. There's my point, negative 2, negative 1. Then we want to pull off our slope from our equation. So we have m equals negative 1/2. So remember, that's always rise over run. So we can go down 1 to the right 2. Or we could go up 1 to the left 2. Remember, a good way to check yourself, in our first example here, we had a positive slope, so we have a positive sloped line. In this example, we have a negative slope, so when we connect our points, we have a negatively sloped line. It's going downhill instead of going uphill. Go ahead and pause the video and give this last example a try. So taking a look at our last example here, the first thing we want to do is pull out our point using our x1 comma y1. So looking here, we have minus 3. That's the way that's supposed to be with the subtraction. So we're pulling out a positive 3. If we look at our y, we don't have anything after that. So that's the same as subtracting 0. So our y value is going to be 0. So we go ahead and we graph 3, 0. So 1, 2, 3. We're not going up or down in any direction because our y value is 0. So we plot that point. Then we pull off our slope. So we have m equals -4, but that would be -4 over 1 because we need our rise over run. Then we go ahead, starting at this point. If we go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, since the slope is negative, we then need to go to the left. If we were to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we would go to the right 1. Again, we can check ourselves when we connect these 3 points. Sorry, that line was not very straight. You can use a ruler or a straight edge to keep your lines as straight as possible. But taking a look at this, we had a negative slope. We have a negatively sloped line. It's going downhill. So that's how you graph in point slope form. Check the next video to see how you graph an equation that's given to you in standard form.